I used to think that once I had kids, my home would just be a disaster all the time. And while it's true to some degree, like there's always going to be some mess when you have kids, there's always going to be toys out. Obviously, a home is meant to be lived in, especially when you have a young family. But I have found throughout the years that going a little bit more minimalist with my stuff, having less items, and creating some little systems and habits that actually make it easier to stay on top of things just makes such a big difference. We recently went to IKEA, got a few new things for my toddler's bedroom. We redid her bedroom a little bit because she used to have a crib, but now she is 3 and she was kind of outgrowing that crib and she just needed a proper bed. So we did a few things different in her room, and I wanted to show you that, and also how we organize, all of the little systems that we use, which 90% or maybe 99% of them are from IKEA. I don't know what to say. We just love IKEA. I think it's a good value for money. And they also have so many systems that work in various different homes. Now, starting with my toddler's room, I don't know if you can tell, I actually have a wide lens right now. So it makes things look a bit bigger because this room is tiny. It's one of those box rooms and it does not have a lot of square footage in it. Actually, all of our bedrooms upstairs are quite small, but we did make them work and I don't ever feel like we're crammed. Obviously, more space is always something that's maybe nice to have, but I think you can make it work with even the smallest room. Is she gonna wish for a bigger room when she's a teenager? Maybe, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So as you walk into the room, we actually used to have the bed like this, the crib, but we realized that actually moving it to this side of the room just makes it make more sense in this small area, and it gives her more floor space to play as well. So that's good. This is the bed we went for. It's one of their very simple beds. Now, this room doesn't fit all of their single beds. This is actually one of the smaller ones they had. I think it's a single, but it is kind of that toddler size. But my toddler is tiny, kind of like me, like not very tall, and so I think this bed is probably gonna fit her for a very long time. And I just really like the wooden frame. I feel like it adds a bit of warmth to the room, which I really like. We painted this wall last year, I think, or 2 years ago, and it's Ferramball plaster, setting plaster, something like that. It's one of the like pale pinks. So I really like that. We got the bedding from IKEA as well. And one of the ways we added more storage in this room is the fact that this bed actually has quite a bit of like room underneath. So I added these 2 baskets. I used to have them downstairs, but we kind of moved some things around and they fit just perfectly over here. So we've got some of the bedding, like an extra bedding set, and then in here we've just got some soft toys. Soft toys can so easily take over. And my kids love them. So, we keep them, but we try to have some space for them to go in. The pom-pom garland was from H&M a long time ago, H&M Home. And then I made this little frame for her. So the frame itself is from IKEA as well. And I just added inside some of the little things that my son has painted for her. And yeah, she loves having this little thing in her room. And another thing we added to her room, which I really love, and we actually have this in my son's room as well. I love it in there, so we added one in here, is one of these lamps. I cannot remember the names of all of the IKEA products, so I'll try to put everything on the screen for you. These are really lovely, and the reason why I love them is because they turn on and off from here, and so you don't have to go down the cable and find a little switch. It's all up here, and it's really easy for them too, and it's dimmable, so you can make it brighter, less bright. It's just a really lovely reading light for bedtime. And it's so cute. I feel like it adds a bit of warmth without taking up space on any surface. Yeah, I love wall lamps like this. Then moving on to this side of the room, we wanted some sort of system where she could keep some toys, some books, but also not take up a lot of floor space. We used to have this little shelf unit in here, which when we took out the crib and we put in this bed, it kind of didn't really have a space anymore. And if we put it somewhere on the floor, it would just take up her whole floor space and make it feel cramped. And so we went for this little system that they have. I believe this is the Trofast, is it called? And it's their wall unit that you install on the wall. And it comes with little bins, so they can put little toys inside, and my toddler loves that. She's got like, you know, her little treasures in here. And then I love these wall shelves as well. She's got, you know, all of the books that she's reading right now. And this is kind of the book rotation that we're using right now. And we have a few extra books, so I'll swap them out sometimes. We've also gotten to that stage where she really enjoys the Julia Donaldson books. And it's just such a big memory of, you know, me reading those books to my son, who is now much older. But yeah, it's nice to go through the books again with my toddler. The shelves are really lovely. We went with the whole wooden theme in here, and I do think it adds a lot of warmth. And yeah, she's got little toys there. And then we also have some spare books in here. Well, there's this little basket that fit in here, and so she's got some more books that we rotate on the shelves, because when it's bedtime, she does kind of pick one from here. But it's nice to switch them up sometimes. And then this is just a rainbow I painted when we moved in. Yeah, I love this corner of her room now. We also have this little windowsill basket here where she keeps all of her hair bands and hair clips, hair ties, everything like that. And then on this side of the room, we've got her wardrobe, which is an IKEA Pax wardrobe. This was actually a 3-unit kind of wardrobe, and we split it into one here and then 2 in my son's bedroom, which you'll see. That's really brilliant when you have a small room. It doesn't take up too much floor space, so it kind of makes use of the vertical space. It's got a mirror on this side, which I think makes the space look bigger as well. Yeah, so I think it's nice to make use of the vertical space in here, because again, not a lot of floor space. It makes a big difference. And we've also put a little basket at the top there that's also IKEA, and that kind of stores some of the off-season items. Like, for example, that's where I'll put away her winter coat and everything like that. And then I'll show you the wardrobe in a second. On this side of the wall, we just have this little measuring ruler kind of thing that I made out of a piece of wood, because I wanted to have something where you could measure them. But also I didn't want it to be paper, because I didn't want it to kind of get ruined in time. And I also wanted something, I know some people will write it on the door frame, but I wanted it to be on a piece of wood or something that we can take with us if we ever move out of this house. And we just measured the kids on their birthdays, and it's really nice to see. And yeah, I think it's going to be a lovely memory to keep in the future. And down here, we've just got her little doll's house. And then you can kind of see in the background, there's the play kitchen that they also like to play with. So, you know, I feel like even if you have a small-ish house, you can still make use of the space. When I tell people this house is about 1,000 square feet, they always think it can't be because it must be bigger, but it really isn't. And I think that's because the bedrooms upstairs are quite tiny. Okay, so in her wardrobe, this is how we've kind of organized everything. So up there, I've also got some off-season items or things that don't fit her right now, but probably will fit her very soon. So up here, she's just got jumpers, cardigans, you know, some layering pieces like that. And one thing I really love about the IKEA Pax wardrobes is, or I guess any wardrobe that they sell, is that you can really customize it. You can choose where to place shelves, where to put drawers. And so we've found that really handy to also adjust them as they grow and they need, you know, a different kind of configuration without having to buy a whole new wardrobe. So that's been really, really helpful. So we've got space for the hangers there. I've got empty space here, which is really great. It's nice to have a bit of breathing room in the wardrobes. And then in the drawers, we've got pants and socks and things like that. We still have some nappies. My toddler is now potty trained, but we do use nappies at night still. One of my favorite things about this Pax wardrobe is definitely these drawers. We've got these in all of the wardrobes. They fit quite a lot in there. And here she's got tops, short sleeve tops, long sleeve tops, just kind of the you know, the thinner layers. And then at the bottom, she's got pajamas and trousers. I actually need to go through the trousers and declutter some of them because she has outgrown a few of them. And then at the very bottom, we have some bedding, and we have these blankets, which they don't actually fit her anymore. Like, she's too big to go under these. They're like those tiny baby blankets, but she will use them to play with her dolls. So we're still keeping them. That is her wardrobe. So that's my toddler's room setup. Let's go and see my son's bedroom. And at first I thought, oh, let me quickly tidy up all the Lego. But then I realized, no, my kids have been playing with this and they don't want me to put it away just yet. And so I'm gonna keep it realistic because this is what it often looks like. Also, you know, even if we have a minimal or clutter-free home, it doesn't mean it's gonna look perfectly tidy all the time, even though I did tidy before this video. So don't be fooled, the rooms don't always look this tidy. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start in his room with the wardrobe, just to kind of show you how we organized this. So this is the other side of the Pax wardrobe that my toddler has. So it's the same Pax wardrobe, but it's got two bits. And it was different in the beginning. We changed some of the things, moved some of the shelves, which is just nice because then he can reach his clothes, he can get dressed by himself. That's one thing I really love about the Pax wardrobes. You can always adjust things as needed. At the very top, we have those baskets, the white ones, that we have some of the off-season clothes and then some toy storage for toys that are kind of out in rotation. So we keep some of them out of reach, and then we swap them every once in a while, and it kind of feels like getting new toys, or, you know, toys they've forgotten about. So that's always good. Just kind of making use of the space all the way to the ceiling as much as we can. And then we've got these 4 bins, which are quite large. They fit quite a lot inside. And I realized in wardrobes, it's so much easier to organize things when they're not just shelves. When you have like bins or a drawer, I just find that easier to keep tidy and to organize as well. So in here we've got, one of them is like swim gear for all of us, one of them is Lego, one of them is paper crafts, things that he's done and he wants to keep for now. So just kind of making space for the things that are, you know, important to him, he still wants to keep, and then once in a while we go through them to see if there's anything he doesn't want anymore. And then we've got some hanging space. So these are just like regular clothes, you know, t-shirts and long sleeves. I think he's got 5 of each. That's kind of what we aim to have in his wardrobe. And then we only bring something new when he outgrows something for the most part. And then on this side, it's the school uniform. So, you know, PE kit and everything like that. At the bottom, we just have some random baskets here that he can keep his little treasures. You know, they always have things they want to keep, like a sword, of course, just in case. And then on this side, he's got slippers. And then these are some more books, Beano books or Beano magazines that he loves to read. And then books that he's actually written because he loves writing. Oh, and we also installed these lights that are also IKEA, and I think they make it look a bit more fancy. I might need to add that to my toddler's room, actually. Maybe I'll buy one of those when we next go to IKEA. And then down here in these drawers, we have kind of a similar system to my toddler's room. Again, I love these drawers. So in here is pajamas, pants and socks, things like that. So down here we've got trousers. So he's got school trousers and then normal trousers. Then this is an extra set of bedding. So our kind of rule is we have 2 sets per bed. One is obviously on the bed being used, and then one is stored in here. And that's been working really great for us. And the reason why we are keeping 2 sets of sheets, for one, we don't need more than that. I find that that's plenty for us. But we do keep 2 because when I put one in the wash, I need the other one to put on because we don't have a dryer. And so it takes quite a long time for the sheets to dry, especially in winter. And then in here, you might laugh at me, this is the drawer of crafts. So he's got pipe cleaners and random crafting bits that he can use because he loves crafting. Well, both of them do. And so he wanted to have a space where he can put all of those things. So, you know, for us, it's not just about getting rid of everything and throwing away everything. You know, you can be quite minimal, but still keep the things that matter to them. And so we try to make space for things that we know they enjoy doing, like crafting, so that he has a space for them, but they're also not all over the floors. But yeah, that's how we've set everything up in his wardrobe. And then on this side of the wardrobe, you might have noticed we have some little shelves. They didn't come with the wardrobe, we added them after. And he really wanted to have a bit of space to display some things. He's got usually some photographs up there with his friends, but I did take them off for this video, just, you know, privacy. But I think it's nice for them to have a place to display the things that are important to them. And then we've also added this little shelf down here for his books. He does have loads more books downstairs in the Billy bookcase that we have. That's actually one of the reasons why we got the Billy bookcase, is because he loves reading. He has a lot of collections of books, but it's something we want to nurture, and you know, it's such a nice hobby to have. And for the bed, we have an IKEA Malm bed. You might notice that we also have that light above as well that we had in my toddler's room. I just feel like it makes it so cozy. And then he's also got the same throw. This is also an IKEA throw. I really love these throws. I don't know what it is about them. I think it's the texture, but we have 3 of them. So one in here, one in my toddler's room, and one downstairs in the living room, just in different colors. I think it makes it a bit more cozy. The reason why we really loved the Malm bed, well, one of the reasons is that it comes with these 2 huge drawers. Let me see if I can move the train tracks out of the way just for a tiny bit to show you. Okay, so we have got in here Lego basically, and we kept going back and forth on so many Lego storage solutions, and you know, none of them are perfect because Lego can get out of hand. But basically in this drawer, he's got the sets that are built, you know, sets that he plays with. He does have a few more in storage in the loft, so we kind of rotate between them because again, we're trying to keep it manageable. So he has a few out that he plays with, and then we always swap when he wants to. And then in here, he's got just loose Lego pieces that we actually spent last week when it was half term, so he was off school. We organized them together. He loves doing that with me. And yeah, it doesn't always look this color coordinated, so don't be fooled by that. But it's so nice when he wants to build something, he can so easily find the pieces that he needs when they're like this. So that's that. And then moving on to the other side of the room, it's basically his desk area. So we've got this pegboard, which is also IKEA, and that's been working great for him. We kind of move things around, and he's got, you know, pencils and paper and everything he needs for either schoolwork or just for, you know, crafts and things he wants to do. Then for his desk, we've got the IKEA Micke desk and the IKEA chair, and these have worked really well for us. I do feel like he's getting to the age where he might need a bigger desk, so we might move this in my toddler's room because she loves this desk. So maybe eventually we'll move this into her room and get my son a bigger desk. If you have any ideas of desks, maybe one that you haven't liked or ideas you've seen online, let me know. I'm kind of looking for inspiration for that. He's got the lamp over the desk as well, which I feel like is really nice for when he wants to do some work. And that is how we've set up his desk area. So I hope this was kind of helpful if you've been looking for ideas for your own kids. This system has worked really well for us so far. And if you feel like you need some extra help with your home, maybe you need to declutter, get some ideas, some, you know, motivation, then you can grab my free decluttering checklist that I put out for you. That's going to be in the description box. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in my next video.